All right. What'd you do?
Scratch myself.
Did Sue throw you down the stairs?
Again?
No, it's just a small scratch, but,
It just, yeah.
You're a
Says
bleeder.
no, it means no.
yeah, and when I tear a scab, it bleeds worse than,
Nonstop.
worse than the cut.
Right?
So I
It's
keep
just a
it
paper
covered.
cut.
So I, yeah, so I keep it covered
No,
until,
it's smart.
it's been 2 weeks.
Looks like a homicide.
It doesn't really work. But it's not working. I don't understand. He's just in his car talking. That doesn't even work. Talk to yourself. Hey, but it looks good.
Mayor,
We talking to?
it's 5 o'clock.
I know somebody was at my door, so I was just looking. Sorry.
Wow, chop, chop.
Goodness. Well, on that. All right, we'll go ahead and call the Becker City Council meeting of January 16th, 2024 to order. If you're able, please rise and join us for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, has council had the opportunity to review the meeting minutes from January 2nd? If so, how do you wish to proceed?
Make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Motion from Robin, second from Becky. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor can state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Any changes to this evening's agenda? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve the set agenda.
Make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented.
Second?
Motion from Mike, second from Rick. Those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Guest and open forum. Our annual report from Sherburne County Attorney Kathleen Heaney.
Good evening, and thank you so much for the opportunity to appear. The chief was just saying, has it been a year already? I'm
Yeah.
not sure if that's good or bad, but I would be remiss if I didn't thank the chief and his crew. They're so good to work with, and I feel like the best part of the relationship is the communication. If I have an issue, I know I can pick up the phone and call him. And if he has an issue, he's definitely picked up the phone and called me. So, but that type of communication, I think, really serves the citizens well for the city as well as the county as a whole. And so I thank him for that. This last year, I also had the opportunity to talk to the county commissioners about my office, because as you know, we have 3 relatively new commissioners now. And during that process, I was talking about the city contracts that I have the pleasure to hold, including the city of Becker. And I want you to know that I felt like I was very supportive they're very supportive in the work that I do for the cities, which I'm greatly appreciative of. And as you can see, I also have a commissioner with me this evening. Commissioner Felber was kind enough to join us this evening. As you know, the county attorney's office has held this contract since I've been county attorney, and it's now 22 years. This is my 22nd year. In the way that we do it is we count basically the number of case filings that we have that open through the county attorney's office. Last year in 2023, we had 549 cases that actually went through the court underneath this contract. That includes criminal traffic, both mandatory appearances as well as non-mandatory appearances. That is a slight decline from the previous years. In 2022, there was 786 cases that we handled, and in 2021, there was 717. I can't tell you exactly why we saw a dip. One of the things that I can tell you is in the last 2 years, the courts have really pushed hard at our office to clean up the backlog, particularly in the felonies and the gross misdemeanors. So a lot of court time has been allocated to that. In terms of the city of Becker itself, outside of the contract, I also do the gross misdemeanors and felonies, as is my charge as county attorney. In 2023, we opened 36 new gross misdemeanor cases and 40 felony cases. In comparison to 2022, We opened 25 gross misdemeanors and 27 felony cases. So we did see an increase in those numbers. Again, I can't tell you what the genesis and why that change has occurred, but I can also tell you that my work is cyclical. As you know, the way that the contract is set up is that the portion of fines that are collected every year, that which is allocated to the prosecution is returned to my office. So last year, the Sherburne County Attorney's Office received from the contract the sum of $9,567.51 for the work that we do. Across the county as a whole, we did see a slight increase in the number of case file openings for felonies. We saw about a 3% increase. We did at the same time see a decrease in the number of gross misdemeanor cases and misdemeanor cases. Again, I'm not exactly sure what to attribute that to. In the future, this next year is going to hold some changes for my office. Roger Fellows, who was a longtime prosecutor for us, is retiring. I thought I had written the contract a little bit tighter than that, but apparently I have to let him do that. He's been handling a lot of the cases, and the chief is very familiar with him. Patrick Zimmerman joined my office. He'll be working in the juvenile caseload area. That's been one that's been needing additional attention. In terms of laws, we're seeing the extreme risk protection orders that went into effect on January 1st. We've been working in collaboration. We had in December a meeting with all the chiefs and the sheriffs to talk about the implementation of that. We also have the new law on the sign and release for the warrants for people who are arrested and failed to appear to court. So we're working on that. The other thing, and here's my brag, this last year the legislature did align the fentanyl thresholds with the heroin thresholds, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. The piece that you may not know is that Nathan Benusa from my office was actually one of the authors of the language for that and has been following that for the last couple of years and testifying down at the legislature on that bill change. And he was recognized by the County Attorneys Association for the Professional Achievement Award for assistance. He now joins, I think he's my fourth in my office. So that's pretty good tidings. The other thing that was really important about the change in the law with fentanyl is that previous to, in the old law, it didn't address dosage units. And oftentimes what we'll find the pills with fentanyl in the pill. And by having the dosage units, it then makes it cleaner and easier for us to charge those cases. So that was a significant improvement. So that's kind of a short summary of what's happening at the county attorney's office. And if you have any questions, I will stand for those.
I still haven't got called for jury duty.
You know, I did, and they wouldn't let me serve.
Rude. Well, if you're looking for a volunteer, we have one.
Well, we're always looking for volunteers.
Yeah, I volunteer for enough stuff, isn't it?
All right, well, thank you for coming down. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else for open forum? All right, committee reports. EDA.
EDA, we met last Monday, 5:30. Pretty short meeting. We just had some updates on we had the monthly housing market update, which we get every month. We just updates to the committee on the First Children's Finance and the JTF. We also talked a little bit about some of the labor statistics here in Sherburne County. So we had a hard stop at 6 o'clock for that, which we'll move into the next one. Okay. Just Planning Commission. We had a special Planning Commission meeting that night at 6 o'clock. We had two spots open on the Planning Commission, so we had interviews. We had 3 people apply. Just prior to that meeting, the 3 people went down to 2 people. So we still interviewed both people, and those folks are on 10E on our consent agenda tonight.
Okay. Any other meetings? All right, we'll move into board committee and consultant reports. Police Department squad car radio purchase. Chief Balloon.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Don't yell into the mic, it's hot.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Supposed to warn everybody.
How's this?
That's good.
Okay. Well, tonight I'm in front of you to make a request for some squad car radios. Last time I made a request such as this was probably before 2010, when we had switched over to a new radio system. So last year we were in the process of doing some changes to our radio system when we were reminded by Granite Electronics at the time that our radios are now out of support. For our squad cars, and our base radios are the ones that we keep within our office. So it was recommended to us at that time that we seek out a time where we could probably look to update or upgrade our radios. So here we are. So tonight, what I have in front of you is information relative to a quote from Granite Electronics in St. Cloud. They currently hold the state contract for Motorola radios. So what we'd be looking to do is purchase 6 radios for our squad cars, the 6 squad cars that we do utilize, 4 for patrol, 2 for ununiformed or non-uniformed, and then 3 base radios within the office. So, and they're basically the same radio, they're just set up a little different. So we'd be ordering basically 9 of the same type of radio. They are approximately under the contract about $6,000 a piece. They do accommodate our encryption that we'll be moving into this at some point this year. Haven't quite got there yet. We're waiting on Motorola to get everybody all the information or hardware to be able to do that. So while we hope to get to the encryption part or phase at the end of 2023, it hasn't happened yet. So we're just waiting on that. So that being said, we do have money within the CIP to accommodate this in the amount of $55,200 for the 9 radios. Under the current quote, if you will, from Granite Electronics is for $54,511.92. So with that, I'd be looking for a motion and a second to approve a resolution that we have for this is 2405, authorizing staff to enter into a contract with Granite Electronics Motorola for the purchase of 9 radios in the amount of $54,511.92, not to exceed the CIP amount of $55,200. And I'd certainly answer any questions.
Is this to just purchase the radios, or does this also count as installing them?
Just a purchase. We don't know when we're gonna get them, so, and we're trying to work out some deals, hopefully, or possibly with, Guardian Electronics. We have other work that we're gonna need done there, over the course of the year, so we're hoping we can get a deal to get these installed. We think what's gonna happen with these radios, as of today, we think it's gonna be a plug and play type of thing. Just take out part of the radio and literally just kind of pop it in and we're good to go.
Oh, you
We
just
think
jinxed
that's
it.
gonna be the case, according to Granite Electronics. He said that's one of the good things Motorola did well this year is to kind of make them that way, so we'll see. So we're hoping it'll be fairly minimal to get them installed.
What is a typical installation cost?
You know, it varies. I mean, in this case, why we're hoping for a good deal is if they have to pull out all the wiring and stuff like that, well, that goes underneath our cages into the back of the squad car. Pretty significant if they have to remove some of that stuff. But if they don't, we may be only looking at a couple $100 per radio.
So if you have so the sheriff does the dispatch, and that's, they're going to encryption, so we have to go to encryption. Our old radios cannot handle that. They can't do a firmware flash or anything, right? They're unencrypted until,
These are unencrypted. I received something in the mail coincidentally today for that. So I think we're getting closer. I'm not exactly sure what all we're gonna need to make that happen. But these, basically it's gonna be a switch from the sheriff's office when they're ready to go. He's hoping everybody else will be ready to go.
yeah,
So
cause
for
what if
us,
we're not, I guess that's if he
yeah.
says, hey, we're going
So we're
April
trying to get
1st,
everything in line to be able to, when he hits the switch, Becker PD's ready to go.
Is it possible to operate in, call it quasi mode, encrypted and unencrypted, or is it?
Technically, we could, if we're able to get these taken care of first, which we should be able to. We'll have to run these in our squad cars and everywhere. Our base radios, squad radios might be inoperable until we can get the new ones.
Other
in.
than like communication between cars or something like
Correct.
that? That'd be-
Correct.
okay.
Yeah. Hopefully Motorola, give you an example, one of our officers ordered an external mic for his radio here a year ago, just arrived last week.
Wow.
So we're hoping
Is
some
he
of this
still
stuff
here?
might be a little quicker. We'll see.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 24-05, authorizing staff to enter into a contract with Granite Electronics for the purchase of 9 police radios, not to exceed $55,200.
I'll second that.
Motion from Robin, second from Mike. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor can state aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Administrator and staff reports. Resolution supporting application to active transportation grant program for trail extension along County Road 23. Mr. LaRue.
Apologize for the long title, but wanted to convey what it was for. Mayor Bertram, city council members, Sherburne County is presently very early in the planning stages for a roadway improvement project on Sherburne Avenue, beginning in 2025. And so preliminary design hasn't even been done yet, but one element that has been called for in a couple or three of the county plans as well as the city's comprehensive park plan is a trail connection for all of our parks. And as you know, there is no accessible trail connection. You can reach City Park if you come through Oak Savannah on the backside, but there is no accessible trail access. And so Gina Hugo, who is the county's park director, brought to my attention the DOT grant, Active Transportation Grant Program. We submitted a initial letter of interest in September, and we were invited to submit a complete application that's due early February. The grant program would cover 100% of the cost of the trail extension, which is approximately $680,000. The county's overall project right now, just on construction alone for Sherburne Avenue, is estimated to be $4.5 million. So one change from the memo regarding an additional $25,000 contribution, that is not necessary. And reviewing the documents, the amount that the county is paying for this project is more than sufficient to cover any type of a matching requirement. So the application would just be for 100% of the trail cost. There is a proposed trail map that the county gave me. I left it on your spot there. It would start at Edgewood and continue up to 103rd, and the trail would end there. Presumably in the future it could go north, but at this time that is where it would end. There would be no trail segment on 103rd, but it's about a 2,000-foot segment from Sherburne Avenue up to where Autumn Ridge starts, and Autumn Ridge has sidewalks. So 103rd being a much lower volume of cars, much slower traffic. That trail could certainly come later, but it's not as critical as it is on Sherburne Avenue. The county board considered the application and gave unanimous approval at their January 2nd meeting, and the town board meets next Monday night to consider a resolution supporting the project as well. And so with that, the request is adopting Resolution 2404, which is approving our application. By doing so, we are certifying that we're going to be the grant, responsible for the grant requirements on this project. So we would work directly with the county to obtain all the bidding and the dollar information that will be bid as part of that project, but we'll have a role in as that project progresses. So with that, I will stand for any questions you have.
Will we have one more meeting or one more item to accept the grant then? One more?
Yeah, I
should it
believe
be
it's in
awarded?
May is when the announcements come. So yes, and there would be a formal acceptance of the grant. We would have to approve the grant agreement.
Okay, and that would be just like with all grants, I guess that's always my, like everybody's, thing is what are any of those hidden, gotchas, or what are the parts in there, that's just so we come in completely eyes wide open, so we
Right.
don't get any surprises later.
One question I've heard, there are some wetlands along there. The county's gonna have to deal with those regardless. There are requirements that anybody has to follow on a street project, so all of that would have to be completed as part of any trail project that goes in, whether it's funded through this program or if it's funded through the county's CIP program.
So if we approve this now, and let's say we get the grant, and if there's a bunch of strings attached that we don't like, we don't
You
have to.
ultimately could decline to approve the grant agreement, yep.
Then I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 24-04.
Second.
Motion from Mike, second from Rick. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor can state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. Consent agenda, Mr. LaRude.
Mayor Bertram, city council members, items for consideration on tonight's consent agenda include approving the revised hiring and termination report from Becker Community Center, adopting resolution 24-06, appointing election judges for the 2024 presidential nominating primary, adopt resolution 24-03, accepting donations to the police department from the following organizations: $400 from Bylum Chi LLC, $4,000 from the Eddy Family Foundation. Approve the update to the recreation attendant job description. Adopting resolution 24-07, appointing the following individuals to vacant planning commission positions: Ron Pollock and Justin Robinson. And with that, I will answer any questions you have.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
No second?
Motion from Rick, second from Mike. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Payment of the bills.
Make motion to pay the bills.
I'll second.
Motion from Robin, second from Becky. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Does council have anything else for the betterment of Becker? If not, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Motion from Mike, second from Rick. Those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 5:20 PM.